Hello, my name is Jesus Silva, and I'm an editor and a member of the International Relations Committee at American Cinema Editors. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming three outstanding Mexican editors whose works span feature films, television, documentaries, and international productions. In addition to their accomplished careers, all three are members of the ACE International Committee. First, I would like to introduce Luisa María Martínez Arcaraz, a Mexican and Spanish editor, director, and producer whose careers has spanned film, television, documentaries, and international productions for more than 15 years. Her diverse body of work include acclaimed series such as Club de Cuervos, The Most Beautiful Flower, Acapulco, No One Will Miss Us, and La Oficina, the Mexican adaptation of The Office. Luisa is also a member of the British Film Editors and an active participant in initiatives that connect editors around the world. Luisa, welcome.
Thank you very much, Uri.
Next, I would like to welcome Marta Poli, a distinguished film and television editor whose career spans feature films, scripted series, documentaries, commercials, and music videos. Born in San Diego and raised in Mexico City, Marta has built an impressive body of work across a wide range of formats and genders. Her editing credits include acclaimed projects such as Like Water for Chocolate, Ojitos de Huevo, Crime Diaries, The Search, and Hombres Integros, among many others. In addition to her work as an editor, Marta's backgrounds include photography, sound design, writing, and directing. Marta, welcome.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here talking to you guys.
Next, we have Adriana Martínez, an accomplished film and television editor whose career spanned more than 2 decades across some of Mexico's most acclaimed productions. Adriana's editorial work includes award-winning and internationally recognized projects such as Huacera, The Bone Women, Gloria, and Come Tierra. Her career reflects a remarkable progression through the editorial craft, from assistant editor on landmark films including Innocent Voices, The Violin, Rudy Cursi, and Elysium, to becoming one of the leading editors working in Mexican films and television today. Adriana is an important active member of AMEE, the Mexican Association of Editors, advocating for the editorial community in Mexico, helping foster dialogue and collaboration among editors across borders.
Thank you, Jesus. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you for being here in this space. And one of the things I would love to touch upon is the very beginning of each of your career, that very first moment when you realized that you really wanted to be an editor and it hit you. Can you talk about a little bit about that discovering process? What pulled you towards the craft?
I grew up in a filmmaking family. My father was a director and my mom is a producer. And so I always knew I wanted to work in film, in film, to be honest. I work mostly in television now, but I wanted to work in film. So I went to film school and everything, but editing I discovered because one of my father's best friends was a very important film editor in Mexico. And they used to get together on Saturdays to play dominoes at his studio, at his editing studio. So I used to visit a lot of Saturdays all through my childhood. And he had like moviolas, and he had like a laboratory, and he had all the pieces of film, and he used to show me, and that blew my mind. No, that very physical idea blew my mind. But then I used to go with, my mother used to go through all the production process through post-production. So I used to go with her to the editing suites, to the editing process. And I used to spend like the whole day and night watching her edit with the editor. And that really, so those two things for me, so by the time I went to film school, I knew I wanted to either direct and or edit. But then when I started editing, finally, it's I don't know, it's a process I love too much. I enjoy absolutely the collaborating process with the director or with the team of editors is something that I treasure more than anything. Just to be able to help the director find the best version of their story, of their film. That's for me. So that was my path.
Well, for me, it was different because my family I come from a family of engineers or accountants. Nothing to do with films or anything related. And but when I went I studied at the Universidad Iberoamericana, and I had a degree in communication focused on cinema. And when we were studying and we did our short films, I volunteered to edit some of them, and then I find out that that was really an amazing job to give shape to the story. So that's how I decided that I wanted to become an editor. And after I finished the college, I found work as an assistant editor. So that's how I began.
Well, the same. My family, my dad is like an economist, and my mom was mostly working at home, and then she used to work at our schools, like she was teaching English classes, and then she was doing like but she's very involved in art. She loves art, so she was the main reason why we got very involved in art, me and my siblings. But I used to write like short stories when I was very little. Like I used to love like writing stuff. And I loved horror films. I loved horror and all that stuff. So then I wanted to be an actress. Like I just knew that I wanted to do some sort of storytelling. And then when I started studying as well, like I wanted to become an actress, but I wasn't sure because theater here in Mexico at that time, and still it's not like very big. It's not like Broadway. It's very small. Like my own director, my theater director was like, he didn't earn a lot of money. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to do this. So I'm just going to do a degree where I can explore all these different media. And so I studied communication and was focused on cinema, storytelling, not really like all the journalism, no. And then I kind of discovered that I really wanted to like write and direct while I was studying. And then I got really scared about directing, so I started doing photography. And then after I finished school, I was like, I want to do film. I want to do something with film, but I don't know where to start. And so a friend was like, oh, I'm working at a post-production company. Come over and join us to do sound design, because I was doing radio as well. And so I started doing sound design. Anyway, the thing is that I tried all the things, all the media that has to do, like a lot of the media that has to do with film and storytelling. And I was like, I'm a storyteller. And I ended up doing, telling the stories, but behind the screen with the material. And it's very satisfying. And I love it so much. And I love that I have all these assets where I can use them to do my craft. And I love this craft because I get to do storytelling, but also collaborate with a lot of amazing people. So yeah, it's kind of weird and mixed up, but that's how I started editing.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. How do we get to discover? Because unless you're doing it, you really know what that is. And like, I definitely relate to you because, to all three of you, because, Latin America, making cinema in Latin America, it's not the same as having a medical profession or having an engineer profession. We know it's a very small industry and it's a very small economy for being a filmmaker in Latin America. I also come from a family of engineers and doctors, and they're all looking after like, oh, you're going to be the next one. You're going to be the next engineer. So there's always a little bit of that pressure of like, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to follow my own path. And then you get to discover what that is. And that's a discovery process, because I think also we discover ourselves. It's who we are. It's part of us. And that's an amazing thing to hear for all three of you, how different it has been. And
two curious details.
Yeah.
Woohoo! The post-production place where Marta was saying that she worked in sound design, that's where we met, because she was in sound design and I was assistant editor. That's one.
Yes. I actually did the sound design of a film that she worked on. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, and that was a long time ago. And the other curious detail, Adriana, is that my father was an accountant, and then he decided to become a film director. So I mean, you can change careers. I mean, no,
No, I don't
Wow.
think so. I don't want to become an accountant.
no, the other way, the other way.
Okay.
No, that's fascinating. That's fascinating to hear all of that. And now that we are in the landscape of editing and the work and being part of the industry, how would you describe the landscape in Mexico now, from, let's say, from when you started until now, having all those years of experience? What has happened in Mexico? If you can give us a little bit of a brief of how do you see the Mexico landscape now for post production, for editing, but also a little bit into the industry in general.
Well, when I began, like in 2000, as an assistant editor, I remember there were like a lot of films, not a lot, but there were some. And then there was a change where there were more series, and but yeah, I think it has changed a lot since Netflix and Amazon, because then they began to produce a lot of series and less films, or the independent films. Maybe there were more independent films with very little budgets. And for example, here in Mexico, the biggest projects with big budgets are made. Netflix is involved, or Amazon, and there are a lot of films, but they are not they don't have big budgets. So that's what I see. There was a boom after the pandemic with a lot of work, and now it's not that much. There are not enough projects, and after the boom there were like a lot of editors, a lot of assistants became editors, and now some of them don't have work now. Some, maybe the editors that are well known, they continue working, but some the ones that were starting their careers, not all of them could continue with the rhythm of work that they had.
I want to add about what Adriana was saying, kind of like how I started the same in film editing. I actually first took the first push while I was working at this post-production company, and they gave me the opportunity to do like short films, but then I started doing a lot of commercials. So there was a time where I used to, like, in order to survive, like to have something like the daily life expenses, I used to do a lot of TV commercials, and then that way I could finance my way into film, because I had to do commercials at the same time that I was doing a film, because of what Adriana was saying. Like, the films that were available for us to work on didn't have a lot of budget, so you had to, like, you actually worked for, I don't know, I what happened to me is, like, I used to work for a year in a film that had like a tight budget, and then I was like, I can't survive with this, so I had to like do like things for whatever. And the commercials were well paid, so you could do that. And then and then Netflix came over, and then everything started moving differently, and films are now commercials are not that great to work on right now, because they have very bad budgets, and they don't treat you very respectfully as an editor. And films and TV series are the ones to go after in order to like have a good livelihood.
And to add to that, yeah. So I think for a long time there was just a very small amount of films being produced a year. Maybe at some time it was like 10, 11 films. Then it was maybe like 20, but all independent, like state produced, with state incentives, no? And then when the Netflix, the first country where Netflix produced an international original was in Mexico, which was Club de Cuervos. And then from then, it kind of opened a whole industry for streaming in Mexico, with I mean, mainly with Amazon and Netflix. And also there is a lot of, which obviously we don't benefit from, a lot of production from abroad, films, shoots here in Mexico. I mean, historically, like, I don't know, Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, Spectre, all of these films, they shoot here. So there is a very big level, how do you say it, like very good level of filmmaking in Mexico. But like I said, we don't benefit from those. We benefit from the streamers, really. And now it's mostly series, like Adriana was saying. I mean, after the pandemic, there was a huge boom for streamers, a huge. And the films are kind of half and half, no? Half streaming, big budgets or medium budgets, and still the independent films made by state incentives.
Wow, that Mexico has always been one of the pillars for Latin American cinema. So it's always had a pool of like a lot of European and American productions going in there. And it's now that we're talking about this period of time where there was a time where in Mexico, cinema has changed so much, and it's been for decades. Maybe it's one of the oldest film industries and television industries in the world. Have you seen any meaningful changes for women in editorial? Has it been? Do you think that maybe in the last decade, do we seen a change for more women accepted into post production? How do you see that?
In my experience, there has always been women in post-production in Mexico. That has been my experience. The first post-production house we worked in, Marta and I, it was owned by a woman. She was a post-producer, and in my experience, there have always been very good women editors, female editors. To be honest, I don't know, Adriana and Marta.
Well, I feel I think that there are more female editors now than before. Well, I don't have data to support that, but it's a feeling, because when I was an assistant editor, I worked mostly with male editors, and now I work with a lot of female editors. I make teams with only female editors, or half and half, and I mean, it's just I guess like I said, I don't have data to support that, but I feel that's the way it's now.
Guys, like male editors and male colleagues have always been around. I do feel like now I like, as Adriana said, like now I can make a team of only female editors, like for sure. Like before, a few years ago, I would have to like mix, which was fine because they have a lot of, like, I had teammates that had like very good talents as well. But like, for example, the latest project that Luisa and I made together, it was only female editors and assistants and coordinators, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. But yeah, I'm just gonna dare to say that maybe we've been around, always been around, but what I think remains not very with transparency, but I'm gonna dare to say that maybe the fees that we charge as females are not equal as the guys. I know that there's guys, there are male editors that don't have the same fees that maybe like female editors with a lot of trajectory charge. That's normal, but like the same trajectory of a female editor and a male editor may not be the same in, like, as in other, also in the US and other countries. But I'm gonna dare to say that I think that's the main difference. I think we've earned some ground. We've done our work, and it's been happening. But I'm going to dare to say that I think that's the main difference, or it still remains the big difference today.
Yeah, no, that's so true, because that comes across every part of the industry as well, where you see a little bit of disparity between, rates between different people, and sometimes that plays a role when it's a female or male. That's always been some sort of that. And I think this leads way perfectly into the next part of the conversation, where we want to talk about AMEE, the Mexican Association of Editors and Editoras. So that's also something that it's very important for the Mexican editorial in the industry, for Mexican editors, because in America we have ACE, and that's something that has been part of the industry since early time, and supporting editors, looking after editors, creating community, supporting people from other backgrounds, and being more diverse and creating a more healthy environment for people to work in. Has that been the similar work that you have done in Mexico? Do you think there was a particular problem happening in Mexico with editors that you needed to be addressed through the creation of this organization?
Well, our association is very recent. It's 5 years. Well, this July, we will get 5 years. So, we during the pandemic, we saw that we were alone, and because we don't have a union here in Mexico, it's not like in the United States. So we don't have a union and no association. We saw that it was important to come together, just to talk about our common problems, to create to have someone to ask, how much should I ask for this job, for editing this documentary or this film, to know each other, because we were just all separate, all apart, everyone on their own editing room. So we really needed to connect, and during the pandemic we had the time to do it, and our association has grown every year. So we are very proud of that. We are on diapers yet, because we only have 5 years, not like ACE that has decades. But overall, to create community, that's, I think, the most important thing, and the great thing is that now we know much another editors, in the parties or in the assemblies, even if they are by Zoom. It's not the same just to know an editor by name that put a face, and to talk with some of them that have the greatest careers, and now that you are able to talk with them, and overall for the new generations, they are able to benefit of this, because if they have a doubt, they just have to raise a hand and ask.
The other thing, I mean, besides the community, which I think was the first step, like Adriana says, which was the main thing, just to be together, to build these relationships, we've also tried to give structure to our work, because since we don't have, like Adriana says, we don't have guilds, or the guilds were like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, they have not really actualized, how do you say that? So we updated, yeah, exactly, sorry. Updated with the times. So it was important to also professionalize our work, give structure to like the fees, like how much should I charge for this kind of job, for this kind of project, for a television fiction series, or for a documentary. What are the good practices for editing? So kind of like not only build the community and relationships, but then take that a step further to kind of protect each other, and to give our community the grounds to talk to producers about the fees, about the working hours, and also the backing No, we have also hired I don't know, an attorney to support us in our talks with producers before a job, in a contracts. So we are we have with him we have done a contract for editing, because I don't know how that. I mean, I know you in the US you have a contract specifically for editing, but here they give us the same contract as an assistant producer or whatever. So it's kind of like to really bring it down to the specifically to what our job entails, no? And also, I think the third thing is to try to make the industry aware of what editing is, to give the importance it deserves, because surprisingly enough, a lot of people working in the industry don't really understand what an editor does and the importance it has in the process, no?
Yeah, everything that they say, it's actually why we got together, and we got there's a trumpet playing. If you can hear it, let me know. But also, like, I think one of the ideas, or well, mainly why I wanted to be part of is what Luisa is saying about, like, making fair contracts and adequate environment to work, and adequate laws to protect us in our contracts, which is like what we need to do, like get together and kind of push that to in the industry, because before it was like they didn't care. But also I think hopefully in the future we can get similar laws as like in the US, that you can get like authorship as well, like kind of like, I don't know, regalías. How do you say regalías in English?
Royalties.
Yeah,
Royalties,
yeah.
like, because we don't get that. We just get a fee for the whole project, and that's it. And we are also creators, so we kind of like want to push more. We want to do more things, but we need to be the more the merrier, and the more we can create more, like you guys that are doing. You're passing your bills and get together and organize, and then pass bills and do stuff. And so that's kind of like also the plan. We have a long way to go, because we need to believe in ourselves, first of all. We need to believe that we can do it, because I think that's one of the things sometimes we kind of doubt, that we can, have a strong opinion about what we want and do it. And so we have a long way to go in that sense. But yeah, that's
Wow, that sounds amazing, because definitely organizing is the first step towards creating a sense of union. Yeah, go ahead, Luisa.
And we are very proud, Jesus, because I mean it started, I think, with 7 people. The founders are like 7, and we are right now. Please correct me, Adriana. We are 100 and how much?
128 we are now, and our association is part of Tempo, the Federation of Associations. So, and that's very important too, because now we don't want to ask for authorship. There are other associations that have that they already had the authorship rights, so we can benefit of their experience. And I think it's very important to be connected, not only here in Mexico, but with editors from around the world, because we share similar problems and or concerns, and these authorship rights are a concern, a common concern. So yeah, we are very happy with our association.
I think being part of Tempo has also, and I was already a part of BFE, no, British Film Editors. This has opened up chances to speak to other editors from around the world and see that really the editor's experience is the same anywhere you are, even if you are from ACE, or if you are from AMEE or BFE, or from Turkey, or from Egypt, or wherever you're from. The experience, the experience of editing is the same, but also the industry experience is mostly the same. So we have really benefited from speaking to editors from all around the world.
Wow, no, that sounds amazing. Hope the best to finally get that to a point where either becomes a strong organization that it could be representing editors as such as a union, and that's the right way to move, because it's a pool of labor that definitely has to be considered for the rights that you are looking for. And that also segues perfectly into the next part of the conversation, talking about international productions and how has that impacted Mexico. I know we briefly touched on it a couple minutes ago. Do you think editors are a little bit more recognized now, or do you think they're still a little bit overlooked?
I don't know. I think with time, through experience, I think I get closer to working with directors and with producers that do. I mean, I think I'm fortunate enough to be at a level where I'm now working with directors and producers that mainly understand the importance of the editing process and that know that we are, if not their biggest allies and collaborators, but at least one of the main collaborators on the way to getting their film or their television series made. I think, but I think there's a lot of misunderstanding of what editing is all through the industry. I get a lot of people that think that we only like magically put things together and that it's not really a process, that you get the footage, you put it together and that's it, no? And really, I think that what we have in our hands is such a responsibility as editors, because we get to choose everything for the better, for the final version of the film or the series. Like, we get to work to find the best acting, the best light, the best camera movement, the best the shot where the wardrobe looks the best for the character. So we actually get in our hands the work of everyone else, and we get to choose the best way to display it, to show it, and to make it work best for the film or the program, the television series. So, and I don't know if a lot of people in the industry understand that their work eventually is in our hands, and that's it. It constantly surprises me that I talk to people that work on film and that don't understand exactly what the process of editing is. That is very surprising to me. I think personally that there should be more of a relationship between actors and editors, to be honest, but that's just my thing. I think actors should come to the editing suite more often. But anyway, I think I'm very fortunate that now I am at a level where I'm working with people that do understand that and that understand the benefit of our collaboration.
Yeah, it comes because, like Luisa was saying, they don't really understand how crucial our work is, because we don't follow a script blindly. We propose a lot of ideas. Some of the, or we have to resolve a lot of problems when there are problems with the script or something went wrong during the shooting. We propose answers and solutions, but they don't see that because, like, the whole story works. It seems like it was written that way. So that's why nobody sees our work. Really, we only as editors know what the dailies that we got, or the problems that there were, or if the material, or maybe the shots were amazing, but I've sometimes I've had to remove scenes the cut that were really amazing, or characters that were so well acted, but but it didn't work for the story, and it's very painful. We as editors have to take those kind of decisions and to convince the directors and producers of that it's for the best of the film. And I think nobody sees that, So, but it's good that there are some film festivals that are that for example Tempo is asking for, okay, look at the editors, we deserve to be nominated as well as directors or screenplays or actors, so that's a job that we have to do in everyone in our own countries, to get that recognition. It's something, it's not because of the award, because it is for to let the people know that we give a lot of ourselves in the film. We put our hearts, who we are, our backgrounds, our all that we have seen, studied, read. We put all of ourselves in our craft. So I think that deserves kind of recognition.
I'm just gonna mention about the opportunities about international platforms and everything. I think in my experience, but I think maybe Luisa and Adriana feel the same. Like, in a way, thanks to the international platforms, we've been able to do maybe bigger stuff and more complex things, and maybe actually put our brains to work in a different mode, because this is bigger, right? So we need to make like bigger decisions and more riskier decisions in our projects now. So I just wanted to like say that about the international input in our country, but also I don't know, the effects that being globally international, like everything being globalized and internationally mixed, also has had consequences, no? But yeah, I just wanted to make that comment. In a way, what Luisa and Adriana said about our craft and how we're being recognized, I think it would be the same comment, like the same thing. I would say the same. But I just wanted to add to the conversation that about experience of the international sense.
Yeah, I totally relate with you, because as the editor in a position, for example, in my case, I come from documentaries, and on documentaries, sometimes you see editors credited as writers, because it's a
as it
part,
should,
as part of the project. But sometimes we don't get that credit, but we still do the work. We still put together things that were not there in the original story. We come up with ideas that the director, the producer didn't thought about it, and we create that. And that's a thin line that has been a long conversation for many years of how much the editor should take, by their input. So I think that's a very important part that even today, we still haven't reached that level of recognition that I think we should.
Yeah, that's why in Mexico, that's why we want to do like what we were talking about, the authorship, because like you're mentioning documentaries, which is like the obvious thing, right? Like we just get mainly like a synopsis of the project, and then you have to like figure it out with the material, right? But like in Mexico, it's that's what we want, our authorship, because we can change a whole script and turn it around and make it be something else in order to make it work. And we don't even get that credit. It's like the editor, it's just the person who put the takes in order of the script. And it's like, no, not really. Like we actually write, we put the ADRs, we make people talk and say different things, Yeah.
Something that I would love to segue into a little bit more of the mentorship and the legacy part for the editorial community. For the next generation of Mexican editors, how would you like to see that? What would you like to see on the next generation of upcoming Mexican editors?
I mean, to state the obvious, I would like the next generation to have all the benefits of what we have been speaking about, to have a professional job recognized, to have their work recognized, to get paid what they deserve, and to be able to have the basis to just be the best editors they can be, working, developing their craft, but also getting paid exactly what they deserve and in the level of what they are giving to the project. No, I think all of us, Adriana, Marta, and myself, but I mean, we really love mentoring our teams. I mean, I know from experience, Marta and I have worked together, but I have also spoken with Adriana about this. We really like and love to support our teams, you know, the assistant editors who are wanting to edit, just to give them the opportunity when we are working as a team to edit, to have the experience of editing. I like to give the assistants the chance to edit and then give them notes and just go through all that process, which I think for me has been through the years an important learning curve, no? To take notes and to apply them. I think that's a very important process that an editor needs to learn. I don't know. I mean, I have, for example, one of the editors that works mostly with me now in my teams. He came in as an assistant in one of my series, and he told me, Luisa, I really want to edit if you have an opportunity. And he has been growing with each project, and now he has become a lead editor, you know. And so I'm very proud of being able to support that kind of work in the teams. And he's obviously now a part of the AMEE, you know, of the association. So I really love that part as well.
But you know, but with the remote work, it becomes a little bit difficult for them because it's not the same when you are in the room. I had that chance when I was an assistant editor to be in the room and to listen the conversations between the director and the editor, and that's priceless. And I think now they don't have that chance because of the remote work. We, as Luisa said, we can mentor. Yeah, we can be mentors of them. I really like that. I really like to listen to their ideas and to apply them when they are good, and to give them the credit, you know, because that makes them uh, wanting to be they, well, it helps to feel part of a team, and that's very important, you know. And now they have the challenge to be in this era with the AI, so things will be very different for them, for us as well, but for them I don't know what will come. So I just hope for the best for them. You know, it's, I don't know if to say scary times, but they are like we all have to learn how to use it correctly. No, not to take our job, but to be a support for our job. You know, to so I don't know. I really hope that our young editors have a way to not to lose jobs because of the AI. I don't think it should be. It shouldn't be, because AI we should use it to do like the more technical stuff, not for the art. You know, just as a support to create art.
Yeah, hopefully cinema won't end up being TikTok, right? So we all will be doomed. So yeah. Um yeah, I also want to say the more, um law, we're freelancers, we don't get insurance, we don't get like hmm, jubilación, like
retirement.
Yeah,
Retirement.
we don't get that. Like we've worked for years and years, and we don't get retirement. We pay taxes, but we don't get that kind of things. We need to do it by ourselves and like plan ourselves, and also production companies don't actually consider that when we work, because we work for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months or 8 months or 4 months or 5 months, and we don't get that kind of benefits from our work, because our work is like that. It's like 6 months and another 6 months with another company. So we should also create laws to, hopefully for the future generations of editors, that we actually like, yeah, the livelihood is a correct livelihood by being an editor and getting all the benefits of the rest of the people who work in administration or who work in companies, in big tech companies, or that do like 9 to 5 work kind of thing. So I hope that we can, through our association, our editors can have like a fair livelihood in all ways, and yeah, and like I would also advise them to look into all the arts, right? Like the music and the photos and the paintings and everything, because everything, all that has to do with cinema, and that's going to make out of you a better editor as well. So I think also editors should know that editing is just not receiving material and cutting. It has to do with all the arts.
Yeah, one thing that is important, sometimes people don't realize that we're not only pushing buttons.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the big,
Yeah.
I think that's why they don't recognize it. They recognize it because, and I love to say the analogy that we're the Wizard of Oz. Like we're behind the curtain pulling strings and doing all this stuff, and nobody knows that we're there, kind of thing. And yeah, we don't push buttons. We make stories. We're writers. We're rewriters.
No, that's right. And I think I believe you're doing an amazing work through the organization, taking those first steps towards make sure the editors have a right, to a better wages and better benefits. Because definitely we're trying to make a living to what we do. Yeah. And so one thing that now we love to, since we're getting close, we love to now go back to the beginning, but not really the beginning, but taking you a little bit into that first day when you got your first editing job. It was a long time ago, but I would love to ask that question. What would you tell your younger self?
Okay, I'll go first.
Please.
I think going back to what I was saying about taking notes, like being good at taking notes. When I started editing, I used to take it really personally. I used to suffer a lot when I would receive notes from directors or producers, and I would get very mad, and I would fight every note. And I think I would tell my younger self to take it easy. We are fortunate enough to live in a world where we can try anything and everything. We don't have to actually cut it. We can just digitally do it. And if it doesn't work, you go Command Z, and that's it. So I would just say, try everything, be open to taking those notes, to that conversation. And if it's not, even if you know that it doesn't work, be open to trying it, because maybe that's the path to actually finding which is the best way to tell the story, even if it's not that one, because we as editors know that we have hundreds of ways of telling one story or editing one scene, and what we need to find is the right one for this particular film, for this particular story. So I think that's what I would say. Like, don't suffer the notes. Try it and experience it and use it as a way to find the best version of the film.
Well, I actually, one of the things that I got criticized, but then I think it's one of my fortes. Like, don't be scared to just try, or don't be scared to like blow everybody's mind, and be be mistaken or not, because maybe that wild thought and wild idea, some people are going to say like, oh, that's wild, that doesn't work. Or maybe they're going to say, yeah, that's cool, yeah, that's new, that's refreshing, that's very cool. So I would my younger self would be like, yeah, keep trying, keep being wild, and keep doing things that are not conventional. Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I agree with both of you because I think that's when you are young, that's when you have to do the craziest things, you know, and because you don't have like this baggage behind, you just be free, you know, and I would say you're doing right, you know, you put all your effort and you are doing the right thing, you know. So I don't want to repeat because I agree with both of you, and to be open, I think that's the most important. Even if you think it's a bad idea, I've tried those bad ideas, and they result in something great, you know. So to listen, I think that's very important. To listen, and to be open to try, you know, and to not judge so quickly. I think that's also important, and it's hard to do, not to judge very quickly. You know, take time, be patient. That's what I would say.
Oh, that's great. That's all great advice, because definitely on those first steps when we are being editors for the first time, it's you're just getting your confidence, right? Or you just don't have it yet. So it's also about getting to know yourself as an editor and the kind of decisions that you're making and what you pay attention to. So it's definitely not something that you start right away being the greatest editor. It's actually a work in progress that takes a long time. It's almost like a fermentation process where things are coming together slowly but the right way. And that's also part of the process as well. And I agree with Luisa. Don't take it personal. It's hard, but it's hard because it's your work. It's part of you, right?
Of course, you are putting, like Adriana said before, you are putting your heart and your soul into a project. So it is very difficult to take it to not take it personally. But I would add to what Marta said, to trust your instincts. I mean, because I think that's what you were saying, Marta. But yeah, trust your instincts and just be truthful. Don't be afraid to trust your instincts.
Own it, like own it, just do it and own it.
Exactly.
This is all for this episode of Global Editing Perspective. This is what the series is all about, connecting editors across borders through shared experience and craft. A big thank you to Marta, Adriana, and Luisa for sharing your time and insights into this creative journey and the evolution of craft in Mexico. Thanks for listening.